Hi there everybody, this is David, and we have some exciting news today in regards to Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. There's some new tweets out there, some new information out there as far as what this third and final part will entail, and today I want to go over that information and also give you my opinion on what it could possibly be, what direction they might be going in the game. And I do think that is worth a sub, as I do try my hardest to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year. With your help, your like, and your sub, I do think that I can get there, so thank you so much for that. But first, before we do get started going over all this great information, let's first have a word from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by Guild Wars 2 Janthier Wilds, the latest expansion of the critically acclaimed, free-to-begin MMORPG that releases on August 20th. The 5th expansion will bring you to the mythical Isles of Janthier, where a new weapon type, the Spear, has been introduced that every profession can use both in underwater and terrestrial combat, and you can switch between your weapons at will. Not only that, but you'll find new allies in Lowland Codon, and even be able to build an account-wide homestead for you to decorate as you see fit. Unlike some other MMORPGs, this one here really does respect your time, because once you unlock one feature, it unlocks it for all of your different accounts, and Guild Wars 2 promises brand new quarterly content releases all year long as well. Not only that, but mounts are back, this time with an updated Warclaw acquisition method, and its own mastery line. It's no wonder that Guild Wars 2 cultivates one of the healthiest, most diverse, and inclusive communities out there. With 3 brand new open-world explorable maps, new convergences and raid challenges, fractal dungeons, and Wizard's Vault rewards, the challenging and cooperative combat is the gift that just keeps on giving. So if you like what you see here, please be sure to click the link in the video description to secure some exclusive rewards. And if you do pre-purchase the game before the launch on August 20th, you'll receive the Homesteader title, the Whispering Serpent's Pauldron skin, and a box with your choice of one of Serpent's Wrath weapon skins. Guild Wars 2 is your story. Be sure to follow it as you see fit, and now, let's get on back to the video. Thank you so much for that. So all these tweets here come directly from Hamaguchi himself, and I'm going to summarize right now. Basically, he's saying the third game in this remake trilogy will beat any expectations that all fans have. He is confident that it will be one of the most well-loved and most popular games in the history of video games once again. Yeah, there were some disappointing sales with Part 2 because, you had to play Part 1 in order to get to Part 2, and it was also locked on the PS5, which had a smaller user base and everything else. So he's like, hey, what can we do to make this, really soar, really fly, really get people wanting and investing into this game? He says that they're going to expand on and make the world of Final Fantasy VII even bigger than it is now, and he wants people to look forward to a synergy between nostalgia and new innovation. They've taken all the feedback and learnings from the first 2 games, so it'll be exactly what fans are looking for, and they can also look forward to new things. And he also says, that the High Wind will play a major role in the third part of the trilogy. He can't say much about that, but he's saying that the prototyping of the High Wind part has reached quite a high level, and they've been able to create a new and special gameplay experience while traveling the world in the High Wind. So, this, to me, every time that I think about the third disc, and every time I think about the end game of just RPGs in general, but especially Final Fantasy VII, I think about getting in the airship, soaring around the world, flying around, seeing what there is to see, finding all those new and different side quests, and going back and revisiting old towns and revisiting old places that I've been to, and I do think that that is really what they're going to be doing here. It's probably going to start off linear enough. I'm going to go on a limb here and say that the first half of the game is going to be pretty linear. It's going to start right after the Temple of the Ancients. We're going to figure out what the fate of Aerith is. Did she live? Did she die? Is she trapped in some alternate dimension or something? We don't know. Probably going to start off waking up at the Icicle Inn, then going through the Great Glacier, the Gaia Cliffs, the Crater, going over, fighting Sephiroth, losing Cloud, waking up in Midgar with Tifa, going through that whole Cloud and live stream thing, and then getting him back. Then I think once you get him back, you're also going to grab the High Wind. And then it's going to be completely open world. Think about how the world of Ruin was in Final Fantasy VI. I think that that is the direction that they're going to be wanting to go here. There are so many things to see and do in the world of Final Fantasy VII that we still haven't yet gotten to. We haven't gone to Wutai. We haven't gone to Rocket Town. We've gotten Vincent, but we haven't gotten Lucretia. We haven't heard anything else about that. There's also the optional weapons, like the, the endgame ultimate weapons that we could be doing. More Fort Condor. Side quests. I think that every single town is probably going to have new and different separate side quests. Now that, the sky's darkened and meteor's on its way and everything, there's going to be new side quests. I think that the entire world is going to be your oyster, and you can just go around to it, and everything's going to be new and different. It's going to be the same that we've seen, kind of like again in Final Fantasy VI. You go to these same towns that you saw in the World of Balance, but it's different whenever you're there in the World of Ruin. And I think that's how it's going to be in Part 3. So you're going to see those same characters that you've seen, but they're all going to be like, oh my gosh, this meteor's coming, it's the end of the world, what's going on? We're going to get new side quests, new areas to explore, and everything else because of that. It's going to be like almost like an open-ended, open world sort of deal. Other places that were in the original that we haven't yet gotten to go to is like the Ancient Forest, but you could only go there whenever you had the airship anyway. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I also think that there's going to be more weapons to fight, more super bosses, super weapons to fight. If you recall, Emerald and Ruby weapons weren't in the original Japanese version of the game. Those were American additions. Then they were later retconned into the Japanese versions of the game that they later got. It used to just be Diamond Weapon for the Japanese. So maybe there's going to be other, gemstone type weapons. Maybe they could do like 12 Zodiac weapons or whatever, and each weapon represents like a different gemstone or something. Kind of like the dragons that you fought again in Final Fantasy VI in the World of Ruin. Have those super bosses out there. Have those master materias out there. And again, just have more extra stuff lying around the field. Extra stuff that you can see and do. Easter eggs here and there. I think that would be great. And I think that once you get the High Wind, it should just be open-ended. Not even, just get rid of the chapters entirely. Just let it be one huge open-ended game where you can go and you can see whatever it is that you want to see, but you can also end it whenever you want to end it. Just kind of like whenever you got the Falcon in the World of Ruin with Celeste, Edgar, and Setzer. If you wanted to, right then and there, you could go to Kefka's Tower. You could land, and you can go ahead and fight Kefka and, beat the game. It could be the same thing here. If you wanted to, once you got Highwind, you could go out and do the side quests. But if you wanted to, you can go straight into Midgar, parachute in, and begin the end game sequence. I think that would be a fantastic way to do it. So now I want to hear from you. What do you think that Part 3 of the Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be like? Do you think that they're going to do like a World of Ruin sort of thing? Do you think it's going to be much more structured, kind of like Part 1 and Part 2 were? How do you think that they're going to incorporate the Highwind? Let me know in the comments, and as always, have a good day.